Hey, what's up, guys? Travis here. Being able to finally sit down after a long day, listening to a little ragtime. I just think that's a good way to relax, and after the day I've had, it's definitely what I need. So I packed up a bowl of blueberry tobacco. Although that sounds disgusting, it's actually really good. And smoking in my Rhodesian Wally Frank. So I thought tonight I'd share this story with you. Hopefully this will be somewhat cathartic for me to be able to do this, but just the story of the day. So it should have been just a regular Wednesday, normal day at work. I'm heading into work, and on the way in I noticed this kind of a thud sound driving, nothing that I thought was out of the ordinary. I drive about 25 miles on the interstate into town, drove into town, and got off the interstate and noticed a kind of a weird kind of hum. Again, just thought it was a little bit strange, maybe something stuck in the tire, nothing that concerned me too much. So I kept going, and I drove over through some kind of this downtown area in Iowa City, and the sound kind of went away, and I thought, oh, okay, it must have been something that fell off the tire. I get parked and everything on the street to head into work, and look at my back driver's side tire, and it is completely flat, which is never fun, and it's doubly not fun because the wind chill this morning was like minus 20. It's Fahrenheit, but it's incredibly cold. And since I drive on the interstate to and from work, I couldn't really put my spare, which is just a donut style tire, I couldn't put that on and continue to drive, so I knew I needed to get it fixed. So I walked the 8 blocks into work and then told my boss what was going on, and came back to take the tire off and put the spare on, go get it repaired, and come back. Thought it would take about an hour. Well, I'm no stranger to changing tires. I've done it plenty of times, and figured this should be a normal one, just like usual. So I get the car jacked up, the lug nuts, loosen the lug nuts off, and should have been all there was to it. The tire should have came right off. That was not the case. I pulled and yanked and tugged, and the wheel, trying to pull on it, it felt like I didn't do anything. It felt like the lug nuts were still on there, which was incredibly aggravating. So I even got to the point where I called my buddy at work and asked him to look up online, Google my make and model, and figure out if there's any trick to taking these wheels off, because nothing in my owner's manual or anything like that. So finally, before he called back, I thought I had been kicking it, prying it, whatever. It didn't work. Looking for something to hit it with, I picked up the donut. I had already taken that out and beat on it, and on like the 4th hit, I knocked it loose. So finally got it loose. About 30 minutes into this process, and so I get the donut changed and everything. I go to my local Walmart just to have it fixed. I thought that would be simplest, and it was close. Come to find, the tire is not punctured. Instead, it is beginning to rip away. The treads were ripping apart, and there's just cracks running down the center of the tire. Well, I've had these tires on the car since I got the car a little over a year ago, so who knows how old they were. But just looking at them, as much as I could see in the wheel well, they didn't look like they're in bad condition. And the last time I got the oil changed, the mechanic said the treads were fine. So that was a pain in the butt, so I thought, well, I'll just replace this tire. Well, Walmart did not carry the tire, because I have a Mazda 3S. It's the sedan. I don't know, I imagine most of you have probably seen that car. It's a really common car, especially in college towns. Unfortunately, this car has more sportier wheels, so it requires more low-profile, sportier tire, which equals more money and more wear. So which equals even more money. So that was kind of a bummer, but the lady at Walmart was actually really helpful and called around a few places in town and found a couple places that sold them, and the cheapest place that had them was $130 a tire, which to those of you out there that money is not an issue, $130 a tire may not sound that bad, but to me $130 a tire is kind of more than I would usually like to spend. The other guy in town had them for $160. I looked online for the right size, and with shipping, $120 was the lowest I found, and that was a low speed rating, a low temperature rating, and it didn't look like it was quite as good a tire by any stretch of the imagination. So the lady at Walmart and then the guy who I went to get this tire fixed, I had them look at the other tires, and of course they were also in near very bad condition. That was horrible articulation, but they're in very poor condition. So I thought, well, I might as well go ahead and get these fixed, because I didn't want to drive on one good tire and 3 poor tires and risk any kind of blowout if they're just gonna be cracking. So I got to drop $650 today putting new tires on the car, and I'm not usually one who likes to complain or talk about financial issues, or not financial issues, but how much money do they spend on things. But like I said, I was hoping this would be a cathartic experience for me to just vent about this, because it's been such a long day trying to get that taken care of. Wow, pipe went out. But I did get it taken care of, and I guess I should feel very thankful that I was safe, that I didn't have a blowout on the interstate. And that my wife still loves me, even though I had to spend quite a bit of money today. So yeah, what a cruddy way for the day to end. Actually, the day didn't end that way. That all ended about, got taken care of. I got back to work finally at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. So I spent the rest of the day at work. But I had to hold office hours and process some data, and then spend some time in meetings. So that's how the day ended. But now it's looking up with my pipe, the blueberry tobacco, and a little ragtime, and getting to visit with you guys. So glad I could put a more positive ending to this day. But anyway, here's to flat tires, new tires, and the expectation that the new tires will last a very long time. Thanks for joining me, guys. We'll catch you next time.